Hello, and welcome to the Astro Energy Astrology Show podcast with astrologer Shelley Overton. Hi, friends, and welcome to the Hi, friends, and welcome to August 5th, 2022. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and we are talking astrology today. So this is the Astro Energy Astrology Show, and I hope you are having a good week. It's been probably one of the hardest weeks I've experienced in a long time. So personally, I had some kind of aspects going on in my chart, and I have a cat that is lost. And if you've listened for a while, you know that my cats are pretty important. They follow me every night when I take a walk. They follow me through the neighborhood, and they're kind of, well, the cat that is lost is my cat Cupid, and I'll put a picture here. Let's see. I'll put a picture here so you can see. But Cupid, I've had for about 5 years, maybe 7 years, something like that. He came in when I moved to the farm that I was living on, and he was a rescue cat because somebody had just deserted him. And I took him in and beefed him up. He was very skinny and probably not going to last a whole long time. And he's been my constant companion. And he is missing right now, and it is disheartening, and I'm distraught. And anyway, I hope your week has gone better. It's been really difficult, kind of along those lines, for a number of other reasons in my life. But so what I thought I'd do with this podcast is give you a rundown of the week, and then give you each of the signs a taste of what's coming, and maybe do a more in-depth reading for each of the signs, and then post that for you to purchase if you want a little bit deeper reading for a nominal fee, probably under $10. And then you can get a broader scope of what you have going on in your life and what transits are coming throughout the rest of the month. So without further ado, let's see what's in the sky today. I'm just going to start with the Aries sign in where the planets are, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on for the week. Jupiter is in Aries. Let me see, I'm just going to, okay, Sun at 12 degrees of Leo, and we've got Moon at 9 degrees Scorpio. Mercury is Virgo at 1 degree 28 minutes. Venus at 21 Cancer. Mars at 20 degrees of Taurus. Jupiter in Aries at 8 degrees. Saturn in Aquarius at 22. Uranus is now separated from Saturn, and they are together, but Uranus is at 18 degrees still. Neptune at 25 Pisces. We've got Pluto at 26 Capricorn. True node, which is a north and south node. So the north node is at Taurus, 18 degrees, and the south node is at 18 Scorpio. Pallas Athena is in Gemini at 14. We've got Juno at 21 Pisces retrograde. Vesta is 3 degrees Pisces. Chiron is Chiron is 16 Aries. And I think that's all. Oh, I'm going to just do Eros because my cat Cupid's middle name is Eros, Eros, and that is 5 degrees of Leo as well. So Eros and what was the other one? Sirius. They're both right in the same part of the sky next to each other. I'm going to take that as a good sign because, of course, Sirius is the root for cereal, C-E-R-E, and it's home. Eros is, the middle name of my cat. So the two together, it's interesting because every time I do a chart for my cat and where he is, it's home, 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 home. It's like he's home. And so I don't know what that means, I don't see him anywhere. He's not around, and I don't know if he's alive or not. So he's been gone a week as of Friday is tonight. So he's been gone a week. And that's disruptive. But anyway, okay, enough of that. We have so many bodies in the heavens retrograde right now. And as of the 21st of August, Mercury will be in its shadow. But Venus and Mars right now, and Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde. So he's already in his shadow. He goes retrograde at 24, excuse me, on the 24th at 18 degrees of Taurus. And right now, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto are all retrograde in the North Node, and the node's retrograde. So it's kind of like a reiteration of whatever we've been going through, quite honestly. Friday, today's the 5th of August. We have Moon square Sun today. That's not particularly pleasant. The Sun is in Leo. He's very outgoing. He wants to be the leader. He wants to be playful and creative. He has a childlike energy, which is one of the reasons Leos tend to get along well with kids, because they have that energy in them. And he's squaring Scorpio, Scorpio Moon. Scorpio Moon digs deep into the depths and really tries to show us what our values are, where our hearts and minds are. It's a psychology energy. And so it digs deep into our psyche. Scorpio Moon means that our emotions are very triggered by that energy, by the values we assign to ourselves and others, and how we connect over the values. Also, it is of commitment, it's legalities, it can be government, it's more politicians. Capricorn tends to rule the government structure, while Scorpio rules the politicians and lawyers within that structure. And so we can see being at odds on legal issues versus, like, maybe say there's a story in the news and it's about a legal issue. That would be, for instance, the basketball player who is in Russia, who I can't remember, I'm not exactly sure of her name, but she just got sentenced to 9 years in prison for having cannabis oil and a vape pen. And apparently 99% are convicted of these particular infractions. So I hope she comes home soon. This is ridiculous, but definitely I think she's being used as an example. And anyway, so hopefully she'll be released soon. Okay, what else? We've got, well, so anyway, Moon and Sun, not a pleasant combination, particularly squaring each other, because they do better when they're in cooperative signs and not when they're squaring, which means there's friction and ego involved. So having a story like that, there's legality, and then there's puffery and like positioning and ego, and like, hey, we're trying to prove a point, which is just all ego. So that's the kind of thing we see under this energy. Pretty much Friday, I'm not really going to talk much about, because you won't even see this till Friday night and it'll be done. 11:46 p.m. Eastern, Moon square Saturn. So Saturn in Aquarius is a humanitarian causes. Moon, very emotional. So we're going to see that in our lives. Moon in Scorpio is going to speak to our finances and our commitments. Aquarius Saturn is going to speak to freedom and the ability to express in a free way. And so it's also freedom of thought and ecology. It's science, we go over this every week. So anyway, we'll see all that energy, not necessarily getting along. The moon tends to be an indicator of where we're heading with something or how it culminates. And so the emotional side of a news story or the emotional side of a career issue will really touch on Friday night. We're going to be at odds with the collective on some level. Moon enters Sagittarius at 12:39 p.m. on August 6th. It is my son's 24th birthday, so I wish him a very, very happy birthday. He is with friends in South Florida, so we're happy he's getting out. Sagittarius is really great energy on your birthday because it is social, it is playful and optimistic, it's spiritually seeking, it likes to have adventures, and generally we will connect to other people under fire planets and fire signs. So having a fire sun and a fire moon would be very good. And then the moon in Sag squares Mercury in Virgo. I experience this a lot. I have Mercury in Virgo, and it's almost conjunct my natal Mercury. So moon in Sagittarius is about spiritual growth, and Mercury in Virgo is about the details. Of course, Sagittarius doesn't like the details. It likes to be free from the details, quite honestly. It likes to see a larger picture. And so when we have these energies in the sky squaring each other, it is going to affect travel and transportation, as Mercury rules short distance travel and like walking by foot or car transportation, bikes, things like that. And then Sagittarius, moon in Sagittarius squaring that is about long distance travel in airplanes. So it's not really a good day to travel, or at least time of day to travel after 8 o'clock at night, because it means that not only are the plans going to change, but they could change due to technology or technological glitches. And so expect that if you're traveling on Saturday. Okay, Sunday, let's see what we have. We have Mars in Taurus squaring Saturn in Aquarius. It is kind of an energy we've been dealing with for a while now, I'd say a year or two. And only because Taurus planets, we had a lot of Taurus energy with Uranus going through Taurus. But then, of course, every quicker moving planet goes through Taurus and squares Saturn. And of course, Uranus being in the sign of Taurus is going to be at odds with its sign of Aquarius with Saturn there. So it's just more friction around technology, cryptocurrency, finances, financial markets, stocks, etc. It could also bring friction with love and what's going on in love relationships, because Saturn and Aquarius going forward means that we want to have some freedom of thought and be our own person within a relationship. And yet retrograde means we have to go back over some kind of issue that we've already been over multiple times. It is very restrictive. It can mean that we're not really finding our place in society, or that friendships are a little awkward or stilted. We are trying, but of course, Uranus is squaring its sign, and then the opposite of Saturn in Aquarius is Sun, which is there right now. And the Sun in Leo wants to be very friendly, wants to be connected in relationships. And then opposing that Saturn in Aquarius, he's not going to feel like he's really free and able to do that kind of expression. So it can be a little bit frustrating, or a lot of frustrating. And that's 3:57 p.m. Sunday. There's a sextile, though, of the moon to Saturn later in the evening into the morning. If you're in Pacific time, it's 11:11 p.m. And if you're in Eastern, it's 1:11 a.m. So Saturn and the moon, again, freedom lovers, Aquarius and Sag. So if you are a Sagittarius or an Aquarius or have strong connections, it's going to be a nice evening for you on Sunday night. Monday, it could be sad or fearful. We've got moon in Capricorn at 2:39 p.m. There's an opposition of Venus in Cancer to Capricorn Pluto in the evening. And again, that's also overnight. It's 10:18 p.m. Pacific, 1:18 a.m. on the 9th Eastern. And so a Venus opposition to Pluto means that there is a home and family energy around women or mothers. And, opposite is, really the value. Am I valued? Am I valued within the psyche of this dynamic, whether it's the structure of the relationship, the structure of the marriage, or the other person is focused on career and the feminine energy is opposing and feeling adverse to whatever's going on with career, and that the home isn't being tended to the way she would like. Moon entering Capricorn and then the sun is in Leo means that we're going to see an inconjunct energy, or 150, between the sun in Leo and the Venus energy, or not the Venus, Sun in Leo and Pluto in Capricorn eventually before it goes in. So like in about a week and a half, we're going to see it with maybe 18 through 21 of August, 18th through the 21st of August. We'll see, more friction between the sun signs in Leo and Pluto in Capricorn, because that's really where we're curtailed more from really doing what we want energetically. And Leos, like I said, they are very free flowing is probably a better way. Creative. Leos are very creative, and Capricorn right now is curmudgeonly, and it's the elderly. It really wants to take people to task for not following tradition. And Leo is also, like I said, creative. And I just always think of my parents. My father's a Leo, my mother's a Cancer, and my dad's always embellishing and telling stories, and my mother's always calling him out for it. So that Cancer Capricorn axis has a really strong dynamic right now with Pluto at the bitter end degrees going retrograde, because it's really wrapping up a story around what the psychology of the structure is, the psychology and the dynamic of our systems. And that relates to our life's purpose. It relates to career. It relates to the elderly. It relates to systems and structures. It relates to the body and the bones and the skeleton. So, if you are having difficulty, you can have stress on your skeleton and feel really stressed out, like pain and arthritis and things like that could come out at times over this energy. Really, there's just kind of moon squaring, Jupiter moon, trining Mercury on Tuesday. It's a lot of earth and fire energy with a little bit, well, Mercury's in Virgo in conjunct to Jupiter in Aries. So again, it's like wanting to take time to really focus on our details and the method, the process that we take to get somewhere. While Jupiter Jupiter in Aries is looking to just brashly go and do it and doesn't want to wait to get bogged down by the details. So Jupiter never gets along with the Virgo type energy. Virgo is always very meticulous, and Jupiter just wants to not be bothered. Wednesday, we have Moon in Capricorn joining up with Pluto. So it's going to be some sad energy, I believe. It could also be an ending energy. The moon opposes Venus in Cancer on Wednesday, and then the moon enters Aquarius, which honestly could be like a neck-wrenching turnabout of fortunes when moon goes into Aquarius at 2:45 p.m. on Wednesday, 11:45 Pacific. We have that deep, grounded, stoic energy of Capricorn, and then the moon also being in that same energy field. It is like we feel emotionally bound by our dogma, and whatever belief systems we have in place are going to be heightened on Wednesday. And again, Pluto psychology. So, where is your mind? What is going on with your deeper emotional life and the commitments you have, especially around career, especially around family on Wednesday. So Thursday the 11th, there's a full moon at 19 degrees of Aquarius, and that happens at 9:36 p.m. Eastern and 6:36 p.m. Pacific. But throughout the day, there are a few other aspects. We have the sun squaring Uranus, and Sun in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus again, wanting to be bubbly, buoyant, and effervescent as only a Leo can, and squaring that energy of Taurus, which is grounded, but yet it's Uranus. So unexpected things can come about, and that would be in leadership. I wouldn't be surprised at all, full moon in Aquarius, of if there's an unexpected leader change, leader appointment, leader leaving in the public eye on Thursday, and possibly that will hit also on Wednesday, coming up as we approach that exact energy. Venus enters Leo. I only look at that right now and go, thank God, because Venus in Leo is my own Leo, and that means it's a conjunct because I have a 2-degree Venus in Leo, 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, And so that's going to be a really lovely energy. Aquarius, Leo, I would say out of all the combinations of planets and signs, having Venus in Leo, Sun in Leo, and maybe Saturn in Aquarius, if only it were direct, it would be phenomenal. But Aquarian energy and Leo energy is some of the most beautiful energy, I think. Very creative, very inventive, and social. It's a really great energy. Moon in Aquarius squares Uranus in the evening. There's a sextile. I'll get to that again in a second. Mars in Taurus sextiles Neptune in Pisces, which what I would say with Wednesday and Thursday is you're probably going to be really sad on Wednesday in a very practical way, pragmatic, maybe saying goodbye to people that you loved. It could be an ending energy. I have a close friend who lost his father this week. And so there may be a funeral that day, but that is the kind of energy that we're seeing. And then Thursday, with the full moon in Aquarius, full moon in Aquarius is always really bright. And it seems like it shines brighter than other moons because it's a very clear air energy. It is the probably highest octave of air energy and the strongest, most potent energy of the air signs. And the moon reflects that clarity when it's full. And so I love it. And it's one of the signs that, or one of the moons that I find to be really fortunate. So if you're looking at playing lottery, we don't have $1 billion. And someone did win it, like I predicted last week. We had a single winner in Illinois. I don't know. I haven't paid attention if they collected or came forward yet, but we have one. And I read it was 29 consecutive pulls of the lotto that nobody won. So 29 times in a row, nobody won, and someone won. Of course, this week, with all that lucky energy of Uranus, Mars, North Node, Mars and Neptune, again, fortunate, lucky, dreams coming true. Again, that whiplash energy from the Stoic Wednesday energy. And then now we're going to be much more happy and optimistic. Also, the moon is sextile to Chiron, which can be a great healing energy or also optimistic, kind of takes us out of that wounding. And then there's a moon square to Uranus at 8:47 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. And so again, wanting to move forward, wanting to be free, the full moon is making us kind of full of ourselves and really connected to the collective. But yet the ruling planet, there is a square to the ruling planet that the moon is answering to in that sign. And so there is friction, there is family upheaval and emotional upheaval from the moon. And chances are it's a detachment energy. It could also affect adoptions if there's an adoptive energy at this point, or people who are adopted can, like be triggered during this time. And then the moon joins up with Saturn, which moon Saturn is going to be a little bit like saving the day because then Saturn is the structure. And even though it's retrograde, even though it can feel restrictive, the moon comes in and says, I understand you, I get you. And it is really a big day for just wanting to be alone and wanting to really meditate and get into your own thoughts, even though normally Aquarius / Uranian energy tends to express out and want to really monologue. But that day on Thursday, probably not as much as you might normally expect. And then Friday of next week, we're going to have the moon overnight because it's over the time zones. 1:58 a.m. Eastern on Friday is the moon Saturn conjunction. And then we have a square early in the morning to Mars in Taurus. And so moon Mars square is going to be probably not really happy to go into work on that day, wanting your freedom, but recognizing the value of earning the money. And then moon enters Pisces 2:44 p.m. on Friday and 11:44 a.m. Pacific. And then the last aspect of next Friday, the 12th, is moon in conjunct Venus in Leo. Pisces moon and in conjunct Venus in Leo doesn't tend to get along too well. So moon in Leo is going to be, or excuse me, moon in Pisces is going to be sentimental, emotional, very intuitive. And then the Venus and Leo energy is going to want more attention. And the moon in Pisces is going to want to keep it on the DL. And so they're kind of like, do I want the attention? Do I not? At odds with yourself, maybe. There may be feminine energy coming out of this. It could also be a mother and then a woman or a daughter or a sister energy clashing on that day on Friday. So, and then I'm going to just say this week, watch out for accidents on the 13th, which is a week from now, because there is an opposition of Mercury to the moon in Pisces, which makes us a little bit floaty, dreamy. And I'm going to say it just, so you have an extra week heads up for that energy coming in on Saturday. That's pretty much the week ahead. So we're going to get into each individual horoscope now and see what we got for that. What I'm going to do is just give you kind of an overview of what you can expect coming in, and that's by sign, and I will give the timestamps below. I'm going to take this moment to remind you to subscribe below also, because every subscription helps the algorithm for me to get noticed. And I appreciate that so much if you would do that. And also like or comment, because that helps me, but it helps you too, because I will respond to your comments. Okay. Aries, you've got Jupiter in your sign. Jupiter's retrograde right now. So of course, Aries people are very fiery. It's an air sign, and Jupiter is kind of a fire planet. It rules Sagittarius, and it's expansive, it's spiritual. And again, really having Jupiter, which is a very freedom-loving planet in your sign, is going to make you a little bit more prone to tantrums and to the constriction that may come up with Jupiter. Jupiter retrograde acts a little bit more like Saturn. So in the first house, when Jupiter was going direct, which was, I think, up until last week, yeah, he retrograded at the end of July. So when Jupiter retrograded, you probably felt like, again, that same whiplash of, oh, I was going forward, I was cooking with gas and really enjoying this time. You were having a lot of positive energy coming in, and then Jupiter retrograded, and it's kind of like, whoa, hold the boat. Jupiter retrograde, it really stops forward momentum. It brings us back into, like the past and old stories, which, Jupiter doesn't tend to stick around long enough to find out about things. But because Jupiter's retrograde in your sign, you're going to feel this in your sense of self and your sense of pride and your ego. It's going to feel like things aren't quite going the way you want them to go. It's frustrating. And Jupiter is currently at 8 degrees, and he goes back in to Pisces in October, I believe it is. Let's see. Yeah, he gets to Pisces on the 29th of October. So, he's going to spend from now until October going back, like trying to figure out why things aren't flowing forward the way they had been. And so it's really a spiritually introspective time for you. Neptune's in your 12th house. Again, that's been there for a while. So you're kind of getting drawn back to the subconscious, to the emotional issues. And then your ruling planet of Mars is in the 2nd house, which is a financial energy. So you're driven. You probably had a good week financially, while you may not have had one personally. The financial energy of the Mars Uranus North Node last week was really helpful to finances and love for you. I'm just going to gloss over some things. So we have something to talk about later on for our extended reading. Venus in Cancer is going to be about home and family and really connecting to mom or sisters. And the Sun in Leo, again, that's in your house of children. So could bring in, opportunity for children. And your moon this week is the moon is going to be transiting your commitment house, your travel house with Sagittarius energy, and your career, wrapping up next week in Aquarius, and that is connecting to people and career, friendships, and networking. Okay, so Taurus, you had also this amazing energy of North Node, Uranus, and Mars conjunct in your 1st house. What I've noticed, it was really interesting when this conjunction happened, which was last Sunday. It was a really great day to connect in and make major life changes. or just even being kind of on the flow of those changes. And it was kind of a double-edged sword. I found throughout the week that because it was such an intense energy around shift and change and fate, that energy was moving out of our lives. And that could also include people and loved ones, because it is the sign of Taurus. But it's also taking action and making movements and moving forward with something that is very important to you and something that strongly connects you to your sense of self and grounds you. So Uranus, of course, is not a very grounding planet, but with Mars there, it kind of gave the extra impetus that in Taurus, and Mars in Taurus, it grounded the energy. And North Node is going to bring up issues that will help us grow and lessons we need to learn. So it's not totally going to be comfortable, but they are still coming in. I think we are going to be feeling this energy as the quicker moving planets come around. So, into next year even. But the moon in about 2 weeks is going to be new in Taurus, I believe. So there should be some new energy coming in to really infuse that particular stellium conjunction that we felt last week in a couple weeks. And there will be something new. It's kind of like we had the old energy go away, and then the new will come in, and it will be a fabulous time to promote growth of that new energy as it hits the North Node, Uranus, and then Mars on the way out. So look forward to that in a couple weeks. And yeah, Venus is in your house of communication, so you're going to be a little bit more nonverbal in your communication. And then Neptune being in Pisces, it's going to be a really emotional time as Venus gets closer to a direct trine with Neptune over the course of this coming week, because that is really an emotional aspect. Even though it's a trine, I've said for a while now that trines can just bring out unexpected emotional situations, and it's like an adjustment, and you don't feel necessarily your best, even though they're cooperative signs. It is a really emotional aspect. And then, of course, well, today, if you're watching this today, there's a trine that's going to happen overnight between the moon in Scorpio, a grand trine, moon in Scorpio, Venus in Cancer, and Neptune in Pisces. So it's kind of a larger energy of desire coming in with you. And honestly, I can feel some of those feelings myself right now. And it's just been really an intense, passionate week, both up and down. But anyway, that's your little horoscope, and we'll talk more in the extended horoscope for you in Taurus. Hi, Gemini. So Gemini, your ruling planet Mercury is just inside Virgo. And Mercury rules Gemini and it rules Virgo, but they're completely different energies and they square each other. So this isn't particularly a comfortable energy for you. Gemini likes to have freedom of thought, kind of like Uranus, only on a smaller scale. It is very much up in your head. So you're going to be going round and round and round. And in Virgo, the best way you can utilize this energy is by writing things down, making lists, which isn't necessarily something Gemini is used to doing. Gemini thinks the thoughts and lets them go through communication verbally usually. But because your ruling planet is squaring your sun right now, you're feeling like you aren't getting anywhere by just speaking it. It has to be in a tangible modality. So make lists, writing calendars, express it out in meticulous ways if you can. I know it's not really your desire or strong suit, but you are writers. Geminis are writers, and so they may be used to using the keyboard, and they're really good texters. Virgo is the sign of the teacher, as is Gemini. Gemini rules early childhood education, and Virgo rules, like, I just always think of Virgo as like the English teacher who's teaching you grammar. Very meticulous, very responsible and mousy, honestly. And I'm a Virgo with Mercury and Virgo. So having your ruling planet in Virgo for the next month is going to be probably a struggle for you. But if you're early Gemini, you'll get it this week. Mid-range Gemini planet sign, you're going to get it next week. And then it wraps up in the end of, let me see, yeah, probably end of this month going into Libra. And so the later Geminis are going to feel it later in the month. Cancer, Venus for you is going to represent your second house, so earning money from the home. You have Pisces at your midheaven. Neptune is in your career house, always, it seems. So Neptune and Pisces up there in career is much more intuitive on what you do. It rules photography and film and genealogy and vintage things. So it can be designing, it can be creativity and poetry. Anything really creative in the arts like that is going to be really helpful. I had a gnat flying around. Anything creative like that's going to be really helpful for you as the moon goes through Pisces also in about a week and a half. Jupiter's up in your house of connection to other people from career. And that is about selling yourself. And you were doing really good at selling yourself and your ideas. But now that Jupiter's retrograde and heading back towards your Neptune energy, you're going to have to go back and really review the deeper emotional connections coming up here by the end of the month. But currently, Jupiter in Aries is going in your 11th house is going to bring more opportunity to go back over connections you had with people and ideas and inventions. And, you know, I know you were getting some freedom from that. And it was really a fortunate placement, Jupiter in Aries there. But now it's going back and you have to review right now. And that will be, I know you're going to ask, how long till that ends? It's going to be through November. Yeah, Jupiter goes direct around the 23rd of November. And so it'll be in Pisces, like I said, the end of October, and all of November will be in Pisces, but it'll be in Aries until October. So actually till the end of October. Jupiter will be in Aries till the end of October. So you've got 2 months to really review, maybe 3 months, to really understand the nature of what your spirituality is, how you express your dynamic of travel and seeking understanding and wisdom, and expressing it through promoting your own agenda, honestly, and really reviewing the things that you're trying to make happen in your career. Okay, Cancer. Cancer is right now, like I said, Venus is in Cancer. Venus in your first house of self is making you feel quite beautiful. People are noticing you. Yeah, Venus in Cancer makes you really attractive to people currently. And the trine to Neptune is almost like there's an ideal situation going on. People are really seeing you as gorgeous and very in your motherly energy, or being a mom to people, or nurturing, but it's also the goddess. So think of Princess Diana with this energy. It's very accurate to what's going on there. The Taurus energy for you is up in the 11th house. And so meeting new people connected to new energy and someone coming in who could be very significant for your career. This week with the moon, you've got it going through your 5th house of children, your house of work, your house of marriage and partnership, and it wraps up into next week in Aquarius, which is your house of commitment. So the moon is going to trigger situations around children and romance and a deeper connection to someone, and then going on to work, which is travel and expression, expanding your horizons with work and education. And then as the moon moves into Capricorn over the beginning of the week coming up, you're going to feel more like you want to be solid and career focused to help out the partnership if you are in a partnership. And then moon in Aquarius is going to be a little bit more freedom loving and seeking to not have others tell you what to do. So the energy of moon in Capricorn is going to, like I said, the whiplash energy earlier for you, it's going to be, wow, I'm really feeling good about this relationship and committed. And then, wow, all of a sudden it's on to the idea of earning money for the connection, or maybe entrepreneurial endeavors right away after that. So there's a combination of real commitment and then on to the work. And so I'm going to leave some more of that for later, and we'll have the extended reading down below. If you're interested, you can click on that. So hang on. Okay, Leo. Leo, it's your birthday month. Happy birthday to you. Sun is in your first house the whole month. So you're coming up on a solar return, or you just had one. That means that people are noticing you. And that's where you like to be. I have a Leo sun, and he was telling me this week that everybody seems to be really nice and friendly to him lately. That's kind of a hallmark of Leo, that they are very friendly people, and we're all influenced under the sun in Leo. And so there is kind of a sense of well-being and peaceful quality with the sun transiting this part of the sky. It can really, being the fire sign and kind of a light, the sun is the light of our universe and our solar system. It really lights us up, and it gets us more aware. Our hair looks just a little bit better. We're more creative. We connect to children. And then Mercury is in your second house of Virgo. So you're much more pragmatic about how you're earning money right now. And you could be a teacher, or maybe you express yourself through the teacher energy, or being of service, or so that could also be hospitality. The military is ruled by this energy, and doctors, medical personnel are also under Virgo. You've got the moon transiting your fourth house of home and family in Scorpio. So it gets a little more intense with home and family. Again, every time the moon's in Scorpio, you're going to probably get deeply emotional and maybe have issues with family members. But then it moves on to Sagittarius, and the fun, playful energy comes out, which is really good energy for Leo. I'm going to jump over to the other side, over to the Aries energy, because that is the trine sign to your Leo also. And you're going to have, so I'm reading this today. We've got moon in Scorpio, over the weekend, moon in Sagittarius. So this weekend's going to be really good because you've got Jupiter, even though it's retrograde, it rounds out a grand trine in fire. So yes, that could also bring fires, and maybe you'll have to put out fires, but it's athletic and it's social and it's seeking. So action oriented. And so over the course of the weekend, you're really going to see that energy come in. For you, with Jupiter up in your ninth house, you're going to feel more like you need to travel, but of course it's retrograde. And what that does is it shuts down your ability to travel. So for whatever reason, you are incapable of actually getting it done at this time. And it's going to be that way for a few months. But, that energy is there. And so when Jupiter was direct in Aries up until recently, you were really going out and making the most of this great self-promotion time. And that's coming up again late this year, early next year, as Jupiter finishes its trip through Aries. And so that's a real big time for really understanding where your place is in the world, the spiritual side of things, but also being self-promotive. Aries is a rather self-centered energy and can throw those tantrums. But in this part of the zodiac and that part of the sky, the travel section, the seeking section, you're going to want to expand those things. So right now you're having restriction to do that. But next year and at the end of this year, you'll have a lot more travel going on. And then as Jupiter goes into Taurus later next year, you're going to find that it really lights up your career, and the money will start to flow much better. Okay, let's see, Virgo. Virgo, you are going through a lot right now. You just got Mercury in your first house, so that makes you a little bit more persnickety, a little bit more meticulous, up in your mind, trying, like, we're really self-aware. We Virgos are extremely self-critical, and that's why we are critical with others as well. But that gets us up in our minds, and it makes us pick apart our bodies, our speech, how we did things, events that we've gone through. We can't pick apart others, but we analyze. That is really our phrase. If you ever had the Linda Goodman Sun Sign book, I think she puts in, what the catchphrase is, or maybe it's the other book I learned on. But I analyze is associated with Virgo. And so you're going to be really analytical as this energy moves into Virgo season. So we've got a couple weeks before the sun actually gets into Virgo, but which is really good because now we're in Leo, and that kind of lightens the energy. But of course, we are heading into the educational time of year as everyone goes back to school. My kids just finished their college summer courses yesterday, and they have about 1 week and they're right back in it. So Mercury is teachers and learning and understanding and service. And so that's where you're going to be right now. You're going to be more in other people. And honestly, as a Virgo, I find that I'm happier when I'm doing things for other people. It's a natural inclination for me. And I really do enjoy giving to other people and helping them. So that's going to be part of your story this month. And then Saturn and Aquarius, in about 2 weeks, we're going to have an inconjunct between Saturn and Mercury. That's a little stressful. Um, yeah, it's going to be things not going well. So I would say Virgos, in a couple weeks, you're going to probably be frustrated with travel, with technology. It's been a really tough summer for technology, not going to lie. Uranus in Taurus, I just got 2 new tires because they were low out of the blue. I had to buy new tires last week. I think I mentioned it. And then as soon as I got those fixed, they broke my dash knob to the headlights, so that's broken. And then within a day, my windshield cracked from one end to the other. So vehicles, this is the time when things, especially Mars Uranus together, but for you that falls up in travel and higher spiritual growth and higher education. So this can be college for you. And that means that right now, thankfully, Mars is past Uranus and you're putting that aside. You're, like moving on from that intensity. And so if you were in college and you had your finals last week, you have a little bit of a breather. Mars will go into your house of career, and that's going to give you some, more power moving into your career, more drive to get it done. In Gemini, communication, this is talking, sign language. Anyway, yeah, Virgo. So we're moving on to Libra. And don't forget, we are doing an extended analysis down below. You can purchase for just a nominal fee. Down below, I'm going to post all those before this video goes up. So it might be a little late today. We'll see how it goes because I'm going to spend the whole afternoon doing the videos and then I'm going to have to edit. So it might be Saturday by the time this all gets up, but it'll be well worth it. Okay. We have Libra. So Libra is the sign of the scales and balance. And that means that you've got Mercury going in your 12th house. And Mercury in the 12th house means you're going to have that little, I don't know, hamster on a hamster wheel going round and round your brain, because that's what Mercury does in your 12th house. It gets you much more hyper. And, Virgo is a sign that's highly connected to psychic awareness, but it translates the energy instead of emotion per se. It comes in through the mind with the electrical impulse of Mercury, which in Gemini, it's like all that kind of electrical neurological stuff. In Virgo, Virgo takes it and grounds it. So we're the grounding energy. So we're the grounding in your plug for your electronics. It has to ground the wires. That's what Virgo does. Virgo grounds the wires of electricity that Gemini can bring in. And with that energy in your 12th house, you may feel like your brain just isn't shutting off. And that can be really draining, honestly, mentally draining right now. So for the next month or so, that's kind of the energy that's come in for you. We also have the Sun in Leo in your connection to other people and networking, which is really great. So it's going to be a great social time for you to go network. Your Taurus energy from last week is in the 8th house of joint finances. So there's some, and that sadly could also mean that you may have someone in your life who is no longer here with us. But it is going to be, yeah, it's pretty intense energy. You can't sugarcoat it. It's going to be intense. But on the positive note, if you have money in crypto, I think that that's going to take off again when Uranus changes signs. Right now, it's been kind of restricted with the square to Saturn. But as Uranus changes direction, they are kind of coming at each other, and there's going to be more cooperation with what can we do about the structures around crypto. But finances, anything that connects you to a higher understanding channeled in energy, follow your guidance with whatever impulses you get. And then Mars at late degrees of Taurus in your 8th house of death and rebirth means that there's some kind of issue that may be coming in, even associated with the law, but associated with joint finances and commitment for you. And again, Taurus is love and money. and it's in the 8th house, which is death and rebirth. So there is a potential for love and money issues transiting and transitioning for you right now. We'll get more into that as we go to the extended analysis, if you want to check that out below. And then Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the moon there today, but that's not going to last long. So when the moon transits your sign this week, it's going to be going through your house of self. If you're a Scorpio rising, or if you're a Scorpio sun, you can also set your chart up on your sun sign. Scorpio energy right now, first house. And so it's deep emotionalism moving into the second house. So a little bit more fortunate for your finances with the moon in Sagittarius in your second. And then it goes into Capricorn. So if you're like me, I have a Scorpio rising, 0 degrees. So this is my chart. If you're like me, then when the moon goes into Capricorn, it's like nobody listens to you. And it's some weird phenomenon with that Pluto in late degrees of Capricorn about to go. And maybe it's just me, I don't know. But it's like so hard to get family members and people in group settings to really listen to me right now. Anyway, so you might feel some of that over the course of early next week. And then the moon goes into Aquarius, and that's home and family issues and learning to break back and detach a bit more, not let the emotionalism get to you as much. It is very clear vision. So I would say with this energy in Taurus right now, squaring the Aquarian energy, you're really being frustrated with having a very clear sight of where you want to head and what you want to do. And it's like right there, and you may have even experienced some of it even with a partner, but then it disappears, and it's not fulfilling right now, and it can be really frustrating because that intensity of the moon in Scorpio, as it's been recently, and then also the conjunction of Mars to Uranus in Taurus, which is a really grounded energy, can be like, no, I know this is what it's got to be, this is it. And then having the planets answer to Saturn and Aquarius and Uranus going retrograde, in Taurus, it's going to be really frustrating, honestly. It's like you have a very clear vision of where you're going and nothing is cooperating to get there. So it's really the waiting game, especially in Taurus. It's a very slow moving sign. So even though Uranus is fast, it's a really slow moving sign, and you're going to have to wait a little longer. It'll get better next year. I know that seems long. It seems so far away, but after a lot of the planets start to go direct, especially Saturn, which Saturn goes direct, I believe in October. Right around the 23rd of October, Saturn goes direct. So that's going to really help a lot. And if you are feeling this energy of withdrawal, when it goes direct, it's the same week that Juno goes direct. And if you're dealing with relationship issues, the 3rd week of October is going to be better because Juno, which can be the guiding planet for getting in a relationship, actually goes direct the 3rd week of October, along with Saturn and Aquarius moving direct as well. And that's in your home and family house. And when planets move through that home and family house and also the marriage and partnership house, that's when situations with love can get really triggered for you and move forward. But right now they're moving back. So I'm just giving you a heads up with that. We'll go over more of that below in the extended version. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And of course, like I said, Jupiter just went retrograde, and it's retrograde in the 5th house of children for Sagittarius rising and Sag sun. And that means that children they were probably acting out a lot for you recently. And now that Jupiter's retrograding, it's like that Saturn energy. And so they're being frustrated and they're having to pull their energy back. And we're having to slap the wrists of our kids. And that's metaphorical. I do not slap wrists. So anyway, yeah, that Jupiter energy retrograde in your 5th house, it's going to be a pulling back from friends. It's going to be being more selfish, but maybe not getting the same forward momentum that you had before. And Mars in your house of work is going to bring more opportunity at work. And it could also be connected with a major change in your career. Mercury just hit your midheaven. And so I think you could hear about a job at this time if you're a Sag, and, or maybe start to discuss a promotion, something along those lines. It is education. And so you may be looking to either go back and get more education or potentially have a career in education you do already, and you're a teacher. And so then you're going to be getting ready to go back to work at this time. Capricorn. So Capricorn, we're doing the mini readings now for the week, and we're going to have an extended version below that you can purchase if you are so inclined. So here's Capricorn. Your ruling planet is Saturn. Saturn is retrograde, which can actually be a little bit nicer energy for you, because when Saturn retrogrades, he acts a bit more like Jupiter. So he can really release some of the restriction that you felt in your life. And it may also actually be a little bit more floaty and harder to pin down because he's in an air sign of Aquarius. And that means that now, you've been feeling this for a couple of years. Saturn is in your second house of money, but it's in Aquarius, which is entrepreneurship and independence. So you maybe have been trying to get some kind of business off the ground. And with Saturn retrograde, it's like pulling back the energy, and you're having to go back over other things. It may make you feel more optimistic, but it is meaning that you're going to have to go back and cross your T's and dot your I's and review the connection you have to other people and the soul group associated with this endeavor. You have Pluto late degrees in your first house. So again, I've been talking about this. I've been talking about Pluto and Capricorn since before Pluto went into Capricorn, which means around 2006. It's been a long time talking Pluto and Capricorn. I gave a very in-depth reading in my podcast when it was back on Blog Talk Radio. And if you're so inclined, there are still podcasts up on Blog Talk Radio from the past. I had, I think, 7 years of podcasts on that channel. So maybe more, maybe 10. Anyway, yeah, you can go back and check those out. But I did a whole Pluto and Capricorn show about that. And it's about changing how you look at service to others and start being of service to yourself. So as we get into the last couple of years of Pluto in late Capricorn, you're feeling this push to change and shift how you interact with others. And you're feeling much more aware of the Aquarian energy of independence and detachment from the emotionalism of all these people who have become reliant on you. It's a really strong codependent energy. Your moon transits this week are going to be from your house of other people from career or your soul group and networking. That Scorpio energy, it's really emotional around that. There's the grand trine coming up in a couple of days for the water signs, and that hits your house of joint finances, your house of communication, and your house of connection to other people in your career area. So those are the areas that you're going to feel really most emotional about right now. And then Jupiter's in your house of home and family. He just retrograded the last week or so. And so you were moving forward. You were feeling maybe like buying a house. If you're in the process of buying a house, Jupiter is definitely the one you look at. Aries is selling a house. And then retrograde means that now he acts more like Saturn, and it's kind of pulling back some of the energy. I'm going to talk more about that when we do the extended podcast here below. You can purchase the podcast for under $10. And anyway, we're going to talk more about that below. But your energy right now is really focused on detaching from emotionalism and from other people needing so much out of you. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, you have been in it. Your Saturn is in the first house. I am the Saturn transit in Aquarius is in your first house, opposing the sun right now. So part of what's being triggered tremendously for you, because there's a cardinal cross, or excuse me, fixed cross in the sky with moon in Scorpio today. It turns into a T-square when the moon moves out of Scorpio, but you've got sun in Leo opposite Saturn in Aquarius, and in between the two, down here at the bottom, is Uranus at 18 degrees Taurus, which, as you know, we just had the conjunction with Mars in the North Node. So where you're feeling this energy is going to be around home and self, and then partner and career. More emotional about career. We're deep in our emotions. We feel like maybe we're not getting where we want to go because there's an opposition of the moon to Uranus. But when, like I said, when that passes, we're going to have a little more cooperative energy come the weekend, because moon in Sagittarius, it'll be in positive aspect to Jupiter, with a trine to Jupiter, and it'll feel a little bit more freeing as you connect to other people and network with other people. So you also have all this energy in Taurus in your house of home and family. So there are major changes coming in your home and family sector. That could mean people coming and people going. And, right now, like I said before, Saturn opposite the sun, T-square to Uranus, Mars, North Node. It is about getting your needs met. Is this person that you're interested in really going to give you what you need out of home? And is your sense of self really, are you listening to what's coming in about yourself? Saturn in your first house retrograde is like Jupiter, expansive of your own identity and ego. And so you're really getting a lot of channeled energy and really on your path to be your own person. It could also mean you want to be an entrepreneur and you can't do anything but something for yourself. So we'll get more in depth with that. And just check out down below the link to your extended horoscope. Okay, and finally, Pisces. Pisces, we are talking Neptune. Neptune's in your first house, late degrees. That means you're really going through a process of letting go of people and maybe really being very sentimental over the connections you have to other people. There is a grand trine, overnight tonight into Saturday in Scorpio, and it's in all the sensitive signs, all sensitive planets and the desires planets, which are Moon in Scorpio, Venus in Cancer, and Neptune in Pisces. And so it is about women. It's about sensitivity and receptivity. It's about psychic awareness and desire. And your desire right now is focused in the Venus energy in your house of children and creativity and romance. So maybe there's a romantic partner coming in, possibly someone foreign, especially if you're hearing this while the moon's in Scorpio in your ninth house of foreigners, or going into Sagittarius, which also rules the ninth house, so it's foreigners. But that can be around career. Pluto's in your house of networking around career. And so you've been really doing more than your fair share in your career, and it's time to really release some of that. Also, you can be really codependent energy. Jupiter in your second house of money, you were really doing great sales. And if you're an artist, sales were picking up. But now Jupiter's retrograde, acting like Saturn in your house of money. So there's something that you have to look at how you market yourself. I would really look to that and see if you're marketing yourself the best way for what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And I'm going to leave that for you. And if you would like a further horoscope reading down below, we'll have it for a nominal fee. And I got my alerts telling me it's time to go. So that's the podcast for this week. I thank you for joining me. Please do check out your extended individual horoscopes below, and we will see you next week. Bye. Take care. Have a great week. This side. No. This side. So, of course, Moon in Scorpio digs deep into the depth. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. What did I just say?
Hey, this is Shelley. I wanted to give you a heads up that there are a lot of new art prints at ShelleyOverton.com. So go over there and check them out. ShelleyOverton.com. Thanks.
To purchase my ebook, Learn Astrology, you can find it at angeliczodiac.com. Hi, this is Shelley. Thank you for joining us this week. To contact me for a private reading, go to angeliczodiac.com under the Readings tab. Background music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Be sure to check back next week and subscribe through iTunes at Astro Energy Astrology Show.